So this is the test for taking sensory readings over via HTTP request from Aroid. So what we are trying to accomplish here is get the value, get the readings from sensors by just making a HTTP request. So how Aroid should respond to that HTTP request is by sending back a JSON object that has the required readings. So let's test it by creating a new request in Postman. So I'm going to create a post request. And for creating the request, we need Aroid's IP address. That's 192. So it's going to be HTTP and 192. And we want to do sensor read. So let's get to the body of the request, form data. We want sensor type, and it's a read. And what kind of sensors we want to read from. So I'm going to do aux sensors. So aux sensors include the ultrasonic sensor, the photoresistor, and the temperature sensor. So it should return readings from those sensors. So I'm just going to hit send and let's wait for the response. So as we can see, it responded with a JSON object that has temperature in Celsius, distance up from ultrasonic sensor, and light levels in the room. Temperature is 24. Sounds pretty reasonable because the air conditioning is on, although it's summer, so that's pretty reasonable. Distance ultrasonic sensor, so this is the distance in centimeters from the ultrasonic sensor. And light levels, they are 793 now. So what we are going to do here is I'm going to turn flashlight on and point it to the photoresistor. So this thing should change to a level up. So this thing should increase. So let's send the same request again, and we should see new values. So as you can see, it went 892. Send it again by taking this away. So they came back down. And we can try the same for ultrasonic sensor. Right now it's 32.11. So I'm going to put my hand in front of it and hit send. So the new reading is 7 because it was roughly 7 centimeters away. And we can also play around with the temperature sensor. So I'm just going to place my hand on temperature sensor. So it's going to warm up and this reading should increase. So this reading should increase and let's hit send. So it went up to 28. So that's working pretty good. And now let's try playing around with other sensors. So for example, I want to play around with magnetometer. So this thing is so in order to take readings from MPU 9250 module, I can do this and it should return the readings for the MPU module. So hit send, we get the readings. Yeah, I know there are readings for accelerometer and gyroscope because they have not been calibrated. I didn't really use them in the project. I just used magnetometer, so, which I did calibrate. So the readings for those sound pretty reasonable. Heading is 355.75. So this is the angle from actual north, and that trust me, that is the real angle of heading. I can check it with compass. So anyways, moving on to the other sensors. So I also have included an orientation, which returns the readings from ultrasonic sensor. It returns the wheels RPM, the distance wheels have traveled, and readings from MPU sensor. So in order to test the RPM and distance they have traveled, we are gonna make the wheel spin. So let's just go and create a request right to the motors. I'm gonna write 150. So I'm trying to spin all of them at 150. So the motor is started spinning. Now we are gonna do the sensory read again. We have values for RPM, pretty okay. Distance traveled. Now I'm gonna turn this thing off. Motor is 0. So the wheel's RPM should go down to 0 again, and distance should be greater because since we have created this request, the more distance would have been covered. So let's hit send, and as predicted, RPM dropped, ultrasonic distance pretty much same, and the distance traveled. We have slightly different distance for each wheel. This is because different motors are getting different voltage inputs. But yeah, that's pretty okay because motors are not. These are just hobby DC motors and not perfect. And yeah, so that's pretty much it for the sensory readings. I'm using a stream address to get the video stream from the using different IP and a stream endpoint to get the stream from the camera. But that's going to be a separate video. For this video, I think that was pretty much it. It covers all the sensors. So yeah, thanks.